We will change topics, and it's not wrestling. It's combat sports, but it's news everywhere.
Well, it's wrestling too, actually.
Well, it's wrestling. He has wrestled. Cain Velasquez, primarily known as former UFC champion mixed martial artist. He's wrestled a couple of matches, and he's now been charged with attempted murder. And I guess everybody's seen this as the reports came out, and it was a shocking thing. Suddenly it's like, well, he went off and shot somebody. Or at first it was actually they were looking for him as a person of interest in a shooting, and then they arrested him and charged him with attempted murder and all this other stuff. And then details have come out, and certainly not enough to give us an entire picture, but we know what happened based on the details that have been released. We just don't know exactly how it happened, how he found out about it, whatever. I think they can, in the defense, they can probably get out of premeditation. If this was a premeditated attack and he had time to think about it, he's the worst crime planner in the history of planning crimes. Apparently, all they've said is a close relative of Cain Velasquez's, a little boy under the age of 10. Does Cain Velasquez have a little boy under the age of 10?
I don't feel comfortable searching out who it was that may have been molested.
Well, I'm just saying we don't know, but they're just coming out and saying everything but that it was a kid of his or possibly a nephew or whatever, close relative, child under 10, little boy, has been molested by the son of the woman that was running the daycare that he was in.
Out of her home.
Okay, I didn't know out of her home.
It was a home daycare center, yeah.
Well, now that brings up another question. We can get to all these in time, but I would think that Cain Velasquez has, I don't know that he's a rich man, but certainly to God, he's got enough money that this shouldn't have been some kind of fly-by-night rib daycare. But regardless, I guess we'll find all that out too as this goes to trial or whatever. The woman running the daycare center, her son, who's like 40-something years old, is allegedly the one that did it. And the kid supposedly said it took him in the bathroom and did whatever with his whatever. The quote was 100 times. Well, if it's a little kid in daycare, I mean, that's, a broad exaggeration possibly, but at the same time, like one would be too many, and that indicates multiple. So somehow or another, they arrested this guy, and then he arranged to get out of jail and go home and be on home monitoring. And his mother and his father were driving him to get the fucking monitor thing. And somehow Cain Velasquez found out about this, found them, knew where they were going to be driving past some way or another. He appears on the highway, an 11-mile road chase. He rams the car. He shoots at the car, doesn't hit the guy he's shooting at, but wounds the father. And then, I guess surrendered without incident afterwards. He didn't fight the police. So that couldn't have been planned ahead of time. That had to be like, they're where and he's what, and here we go. But a bunch of people have already tweeted Ronda Rousey being one. Hey, I would have done the same thing, maybe worse. Well, from the sound of it, I think everybody can fall in that category, except there should have been a little more planning put into the execution of the idea, because he not only didn't fulfill his purpose, he got the wrong guy. But Brian, again, I asked you this question right before we went on the air, and now that I've started thinking, he's obviously not, but he's one of the biggest sports stars ever to be charged with attempted murder/murder. Then you go to O.J. Simpson and Aaron Hernandez and Chris Benoit.
Yeah.
You never charged, but guilty of. Where do we go from there? Can you think?
Ray Lewis? Was Ray Lewis charged? What was the actual charge when he got arrested?
I can't remember.
Following a Super Bowl party in Atlanta in 2000, a fight broke out between Lewis and his companions and another group of people, resulting in the stabbing deaths of 2 people. He was charged with murder and aggravated assault charges.
Ooh.
So you can add him to the list, although he obviously got off.
And I mean, somebody's going to say, because Chris Adams shot his friend, right? Or no, his friend shot Chris Adams.
His friend shot Chris Adams.
Holy shit, I got that backwards. So that wasn't a...
Hooray.
There was an old-time wrestler, and he may have been a name of some description in a territory or two. It's not coming to me, but he murdered his wife. Do you remember that story? This is back like the 50s.
I'm not sure.
But as far as major sports celebrities, I'm not a huge football, baseball, basketball expert. Sonny Liston was that was putting the cart before the horse. He wasn't a star for the murder.
He was just a hitman.
He was just a hitman. Yeah, he was just a hitman. But this is and has there ever been a case like this? And a million people are like, yeah, motherfucker.
We forgot a big one. Snuka.
Oh my God. Well, Snuka. He was charged finally.
Yeah.
But never, by that point, he couldn't go to trial or whatever. So, okay, and actually when you think about it, just because of the nature of the territories, I mean, obviously O.J. Simpson was a bigger star. Aaron Hernandez was a bigger star. Chris Benoit was a bigger name, even though wrestling was less popular during Benoit's era than it was during Snuka's. He was a bigger name because of the national and worldwide television. So that may be something that the cult can come up with. Instead of gerbils and why is my butt protruding or whatever, what famous, internationally famous sports celebrities in the past have been charged with murder or attempted murder, trying to do it, just not succeeding? But has anybody ever had a better reason?
Was Sam Shepard considered an international sports athlete?
No. See, again, asterisk there. He was just a mild-mannered doctor, a Cleveland osteopath when the murder happened, and then became famous later as a result of it, not the other way around.
Well, there you have it.
Anyway, we'll follow this, but holy...
Hey, I agree with you. If there's ever a time to go out and do that, if this guy was there and he heard that some member of his family who's underage, who's under 10, was molested by this guy at his mother's daycare, and he got out of prison, or not prison, but he got out of jail.
Jail, yeah.
They sent him home to get an ankle monitor. Yeah, I may lose it too. I may hire someone, but I may, really...
No, come on now.
I don't know if I'd be directly involved.
The thing is that Cain may very well get off with this, or at least get, a lighter sentence or whatever. But if you hired somebody, the premeditation would go along with that real well.
Obviously, there was no premeditation here, and that's going to help him. And what jury's going to convict him? If this ends up being the case, unless somehow, miraculously, this guy was innocently accused of being a child molester. But I'm going to go with more than likely he was properly accused and arrested for it.
Yeah.
If that's the case, what jury's going to convict this guy? You saw his mugshot? He didn't look scared. He didn't look upset. He looked satisfied. And he did what... I mean,
Well, maybe he was satisfied before he found out he hit the wrong guy.
I've said it before on the show. I've said, everyone is lovey-dovey. Just let everyone like what they like. Everyone this, everyone... Look, there are some people who need to go. There really are. And the child molester is usually at the top of the list. So I hate that he hit the dad. That sucks. I mean, I feel bad for the dad there, but I understand why this guy went out there and said, I'm going to go get this motherfucker. I completely understand it.
But you know what? That's what makes me mad at these people when you see the courtroom videos where this fucking asshole that's killed some member of this family and is standing up there and you know the family member, they know they got one shot at this guy. He's right in the room and they don't pick their spot perfectly, or they don't get, somebody blocks them off, or they don't get to him right. I'm like, goddamn, plan ahead. Don't just punch him. Have a goddamn 10-penny nail in your fucking palm, right through the fucking ear or up the nose. Make the fucking shot count if you're going to do it. I hate when they fail in their mission.
It's the most heartbreaking video when you see one of those lunges in the courtroom.
Yeah.
Like the murderer's there. He is just not sorry in any way, and he's smug, and this family's devastated, and the one guy just stands up and lunges for him, and unfortunately then he's the one who ends up with a bunch of security guards or a bunch of cops on him, and the other guy's just standing there. It's the most heartbreaking video.
But see, if you planned ahead and you knew, I've got 5 seconds, I can get to him one time, what can I do to make the most fucking, make it count? Anyway.
See, this is a video series we could start doing on YouTube to really, I think, broaden the audience. Jim Cornette's vigilante advice.
You think you can't get a 10-penny nail through a metal detector if you put it down next to the fucking hinges in a briefcase or something? Anyway, nevertheless. And the one thing that I wish that we could get some clarity on, and maybe that we could investigate, is how and I'm not blaming him, because, you know, goddamn daycare. That's why I honestly, the first few times that we sent Harley to her groomer, I made sure to have Stace go in and case the place, and I've been by there. We've talked to everybody. We got the same girl cutting her hair. You know, everybody's fine now, but a daycare center out of your house, should that have been investigated a bit more? That disturbs me.
Yeah, there have been a few cases in New York where it was a home daycare center, and that's when all the heinous shit happened. Not that other daycare centers are immune from that, but there have been a few of those in the last decade that I've seen in the news.
Well, and I mean, and there's no saying that many of these people don't mean perfectly well, but still, you know, sounds like an amateur operation.